What's going on? Good morning, Alicia. How y'all doing this morning? What's going on? Votar, what's going on, sir? Hope you guys are doing well this morning. Hope y'all are doing good. Alicia, where we at now, Alicia? Where we at? Good morning, Shantae. Where we at right now? How many weeks in are we? LaZoe is whooping you up. She's whooping mommy up. 36 weeks. Look at you. Wow. So we coming into that any day now territory. We're coming to the any day now territory. So how you guys feeling this morning? Yes. I remember those days. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are doing well. We'll wait about another few moments, 20, 30 seconds for people to come on if they want to come on this morning. Oh, cool. Absolutely, absolutely. Good morning, everybody who's on. Good morning, Devette. Good morning, Ty. Glad to have you guys this morning. I'm excited about the video today. Something that's very applicable to each of us, I'm sure. Dealing with frustrations, fighting with them. I've just been getting more information. And so we'll go ahead and get started. So last week we really talked about the mistake management team. It kind of really stuck with me even throughout the weekend. I understand that we need a mistake management team. We need a team of people who can help us win, not if. When we make our mistakes, that we need to enable a team of people, not everybody, but a team of people that you can be accountable to that will help you not be isolated in your mistakes, not to isolate yourself to your mistakes, but to cause those mistakes to turn into a positive force for your future. How those mistakes can actually enhance your destiny. They can enhance your focus to your destination. And so that's a beautiful thing. And hopefully you've been doing that, not allowing yourself to be isolated to your mistakes or weaknesses or failures and things like that, but that you have people that care. You have a team of people who first, have your best interest at heart. Okay. It's not really hard to identify people who have your best interest at heart, and you want to, and once you do that, then you should give them the access or the freedom to if somebody has my best interest at heart, they'll have more access in my life, right? Because you don't have to worry about, okay, are you trying to help me or hinder me? Are you trying to help me or hurt me? You don't need to. Once you don't have that, then now you need to give those people in your life that jurisdiction to help and to correct and to do those things, and also to be there for them when their time comes. Not if, but when. Because we're all going to struggle. We're all going to go through. We all have weaknesses, right? We all have weaknesses. We're all going to make mistakes, and so it's important that we use those mistakes to enhance our destiny. So, because we know that making mistakes is such a big part of life. We're all going to make them. Making mistakes is a big part of life. Good morning, everybody coming on. Good morning, Zach. So, making mistakes can be frustrating, right? Making mistakes can be frustrating. Making mistakes repeatedly can be extremely frustrating. And so we want to deal with frustration today. I want to deal with it on a whole nother level, because I've been really studying. Good morning, sis. Good morning, Mike. And so this word frustration in the Greek, in the Webster, it says to fail to fulfill the expectations or wishes of, okay? To defeat the fulfillment of hopes, to thwart. So frustrations are when we're thrown off, when we fail to fulfill the expectations. That's why I always say frustrations is simply failed expectations. So my expectations were one thing, but the actual results were another. And when expectations and then the failure of the expectations come together, it makes a baby called frustrations, and we get frustrated. And so I really want to dig deep into how we can deal with frustration and how frustration, good morning, sis, how frustration can actually be a major part of our freedom, can be a major part of our growth, a major part of our fulfillment of our destiny and our dreams. It's crucial that we respect frustration. And so one of the things I was thinking about in my life is how frustrations can become, we can handle frustrations in two different ways. We can embrace them or we can avoid them. We can avoid frustrations or we can embrace frustrations. And because frustrations is it's a verb that when the Webster understands, defines what a frustration is, it is a verb. That means it is an action. So your action brought about. Actions brought about frustrations. Your actions, someone else's actions, but actions is what brought it about. But it's also an emotion. So frustration is an emotion. It's something that you feel. It's something that you feel. And so whenever you're dealing with natural emotions, you got to take heed to them, because that's in our makeup. It's in our design to feel a certain way for a certain reason. So if I'm feeling this emotion of frustration, I don't want to just run from it. I don't want to just ignore it and act like it's not there. Well, just stop being frustrated. Okay, stop being frustrated. Okay, and so I'm going to actually deal with the types of frustrations in here, deal with the 4 types of frustrations and how we can deal with those frustrations. And so I was reading and it says, I like this. It says, frustration is an emotion and that doesn't feel good, right? Frustration is not an emotion that feels good, but it can turn out to something good. It doesn't feel good, but it can turn into something good. It can lead me to a way. Because I've been very frustrated a lot this year. I had high ambitions this year, right? So what happened was finishing up the last quarter of 2017, I began to build these great expectations. And so then the beginning of this year, I made ambitious goals for myself. And what happened is here we are in the middle of the year, and I've been finding myself being very frustrated, okay? So is that a bad thing that I'm frustrated? Guess what? I set high goals for myself. And remember I said, when you have high expectations and then you're failing those expectations, those things, once they get married, they make a baby called frustration. Expectations, results that fail those expectations equals frustration. And so the key is I've been learning this year not to ignore those frustrations, not to run from them, not to sweep them under the rug, but to embrace them. Why? Because they came from a good place. My frustrations came from a good place because my expectations of myself have been set to a higher standard. And so when you set your expectations on a higher standard, remember, enhance means you set a new standard. Remember I talked about enhance your past? So 2018 can't go like 2017, right? So you set up a different standard, and frustration is actually going to feed your commitment. It's going to let you know, look, that's old. You can't put up with the 2017 Tyrone, the 2017 self. There's a new standard now. So now that frustration is going to really ensure that I can't get comfortable with failing these high standards that I've set for myself. It's going to make sure that I'm not comfortable and complacent with life as usual. So frustration cannot be ignored. We must have a healthy respect for frustrations, okay? So look at this. It says an emotion. Frustration is a common emotional response to opposition related to anger, annoyance, and disappointment. Frustration arises from the perceived resistance to the fulfillment of an individual's will or goal and is likely to increase when a will or goal is denied or blocked. So when we have a will or a goal or something that is blocked, we get frustrated. So I'm telling you, it doesn't feel good, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Just because it doesn't feel good doesn't mean it's a bad thing. So frustration, it says, frustration is the emotional state that a person experiences when needs, wants, desires are not readily available and are not attainable. So that's the frustration where I have a goal, I have a desire that's not readily available. And I don't know about you, but I am not patient by nature. I'm very impatient by nature. By nature, I'm impatient. So when when I want something, I kind of want it now, right? I kind of want it right now. I don't want to wait. I want it now. And so when I don't get it now, and I, I can tell on myself, even at the stoplight, if the light turns green, that means it's time to go. If I'm behind somebody and they're just sitting there not paying attention, I get a little taste of frustration, just a little bit, just a little taste of frustration. And if they don't go for more than a half of a second, I'm gonna honk the horn in frustration, because it's like it's time to go. I don't want to sit here when I can go, right? My abilities say go, but I'm sitting here. And this is how frustration is. We can be sitting in a place, our abilities are saying, look, you can strive, you can do this, you can achieve that, but you're not achieving it. So you can get frustrated because frustration says, look, you're not fulfilling your potential. You're not living up to how high you can actually go. You can go higher, you can go harder, you can go faster, you can be stronger than this. And so frustration can't be ignored. It must be respected. It must be respected. So with that being said, getting rid of frustration should be a goal, right? So it should be a goal to get rid of frustrations. Absolutely. It should be a goal. Good morning, Jess. So it should be a goal to get rid of frustrations, but how will you do so? Will you get rid of them by avoiding them, or embracing them and conquering them, and respecting them and saying, okay, where are you? Okay, well, show me your evidence. Why? Ask your frustration. Show me your evidence. Why are you here? Frustration, I feel you. I'm not going to ignore you, but I do want to ask why you're here. Have you asked your frustrations why they're there? Why is it there? Ask your frustration that. Ask it. Why are you here? Why are you here? And then your frustrations will start pointing you. Remember, you said you wanted to write that book. You said that you were going to write the book. You had all this stuff, but you didn't do it. You didn't do it. So now I'm here. I've stepped on the scene as somebody to kind of help redirect you back to what your goals were. I can't allow you to just turn your back on me. I can't allow you to turn your back on that goal. See, frustration works for your achievements. Frustration works for your destiny. Frustration works for your goals. Because when you don't fulfill your goals, frustration is going to come on the scene, and it's like a police officer going to say, look here, you are not abiding by the law. You said to yourself that you were going to accomplish this. You said to yourself that you were going to do this. You were going to get healthy. You were going to do that. Now I'm here to help you recognize what you said and what you desired. And I'm going to make sure that you go back and conquer this thing, right? Don't avoid. So look what avoidance does. So we can avoid them. You can either embrace your frustrations when they come on the scene, or you can avoid it. It's just like a child that's bothering you. Daddy, and you're trying to do something. You can avoid it all you want. But guess what? Avoidance does not get rid of it, does it? Avoidance will not resolve it. Because I could be like, okay, wait a second, Trace, wait a second, Ty. I'm doing something. And then I can wait a little bit, but guess what? In a couple of minutes, Daddy. So it's coming back until I get up. Okay, let's just come on. What you want? You want some chips? All right, let's go get some chips. And then you go, and then you solve it, and now you can go back to back on track and get back to what you're doing. So understand, frustration needs to be respected. But look at what avoidance does. A lot of times we avoid it, myself included. I avoid frustrations. And this is a danger. So look at how ways we avoid it. It means to keep away from, to keep clear of. Remember, because it's an emotion that feels a negative. It feels like it's a negative emotion. It's actually a positive that don't feel good. It's a positive emotion that doesn't feel good. Okay, and so it doesn't feel good. So it feels like a negative emotion. So avoid is to keep away from, to steer, and to keep clear from. Avoidance, to prevent from happening. Okay, so avoidance can be a coping mechanism. And so I was reading this article, and it says 9 ways that you can avoid action. So, of course, avoidance is proper in certain areas, but we're talking about frustration here. But avoidance can be proper. Like if you avoid going down a road that looks like it's flooded or something like that, your avoidance is actually just smart. It's just being smart. I think my car can get through that. That's how most people drown in floods, right? They drown in their car. trying to drive across something and they lose and the water's deeper. You don't know how deep water. So avoidance, it can be a good thing. So you can avoid taking actions that trigger painful memories of the past. So you can avoid actions that'll trigger painful memories. Okay. The next avoidance, you try to stay under the radar. Okay, people who have a sense of defectiveness often try to stay under the radar, for they fear things like being kicked off of university, or being kicked out of university, or their success feels fraudulent to them. They feel like they're noticing their flaws and being revealed. So this type of avoidance gets into a hairy situation where you're avoiding something that is showing you where your weaknesses are, or you avoid something that is showing you where you need development. That's avoidance that does not that will not enhance our growth. That avoidance does not enhance our growth. We can't avoid, and a lot of times frustration will come in when we're not fulfilling our potential. Frustration comes in, and that avoiding that frustration, that's no good for growth. So, and the third one is you avoid reality testing your thoughts. For example, you're worried your child is on the autism spectrum, and you put your head in the sand or just read stuff on the internet rather than seek a professional assessment. So avoidance is when you're almost procrastinating of something. Instead of fixing or resolving an issue, you'll just kind of avoid it and say, you know what, I'll let me try another route. Let me try this. Let me try a second route. Just to avoid going past something that's going to trigger something, or something I just don't want to simply face. And so number 4, we try to avoid the potential for people being mad at us. So we avoid, we're talking about frustrations, but we can avoid, you can have frustration avoidance, where you avoid the frustration because it keeps people happy. So I'm frustrated because I'm not achieving, but if I don't say anything, then I'm going to consistently be frustrated. But instead of respecting and choosing me and choosing you, instead of choosing you, I'm going to choose everybody else. And then I'm just going to allow my frustration to just be there. But I'm not going to really address them. I'm just going to make sure I'm not making people mad. And that's something that's not very healthy either. So number 5, you have a tendency to stop working on a goal when an anxiety-provoking thought comes up. So now I had a goal, and instead of accomplishing that goal or striving after that goal, I'm going to avoid the goal, because every time I strive, I fear failure. So I won't run after it. That's avoidance that is unhealthy. That is avoidance that is unhealthy. The next one, you avoid feeling awkward, because frustrations, a lot of times frustration, remember, it's going to come in when your expectations are failed. So it's going to come on the scene. So if I avoid feeling awkward, sometimes, guess what? In order to fulfill your potential, you are going to be put in awkward situations. You're going to be in uncomfortable situations. Fulfilling your potential is going to lead you into some areas that's going to be, I don't want to face this. It's going to be anxious. You're going to have anxiety. So we don't want to avoid that, but that's one way we can avoid it. It's a coping mechanism. Instead of being anxious about achieving something and going into areas and territories that I've never been into, I'm going to avoid them. That's not a healthy thing. 7, you avoid starting a task if you don't know when you're going to finish it. So instead of initiating something, I'll just avoid that because I don't know when it's going to be accomplished. This is another thing that doesn't fight for your future. It doesn't fight for your future when we avoid starting something because we don't know when it's going to be finished. Just go. Just start it. Just start it. Just start it. Start that book. Start that poem. Start that business. Get your information you need and go. Go get it. Seek some people. Go back to school. Stop waiting. Go back and get your degree. Get your GED. Get your master's. Whatever it is, just go after it. Don't avoid the task. Don't avoid the task. This is something I'm personally doing because, as soon as I got out of college, I was trying out for the NFL and it didn't work out. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go and get my master's. I'm going to go right back to school and start my master's. But things started happening. So I went into ministry and I started avoiding going back to school. And then I'm like, okay, I'm enrolled. I got enrolled. Then my father died. And I'm like, oh, well, now I got to pastor church. I can't go back to school. And so then I'm thinking about going back to school. Oh, my wife's pregnant. Okay. Then she gets pregnant again. So a few months later, gets pregnant again. You know, so I'm like, I'm always holding back this stuff, but now I'm frustrated. Now I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, I have to get better. There's more that I need. There's more that I know. So stop avoiding starting something. So now I'm enrolled. I'm enrolled in school to get my master's degree. And guess what? I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. I've been holding people, I've been allowing people to hold me accountable because I just got to go. I can no longer, stop. I can no longer avoid starting this thing. Just do it. Just do it. Do like Nike. Just do it. Go after it. Go after it. It's never we're never going to be in perfect situations that we can do something, right? Oh, I'm gonna have this when the situation is perfectly right. It's never gonna be perfectly right. The situation, there's always gonna be some obstacles. Anything that's worth striving after will have obstacles within it, right? And so the eighth one, you avoid certain physical sensations. And so if I know I'm going to feel panic, if I know I'm going to feel something, I'll avoid this. I know people who stopped driving, they got in a car accident, and because of the trauma, they'll never drive again. They'll never drive again, so they still to this day won't drive on the highway. So they'll drive. I'm like, man, that's tough. So we go through these traumatic experiences, but we gotta embrace and we have to conquer those, right? And so, and I like this. Oh yeah, so that was the last one. That was 8. So look at this. So now I'm going to deal with the type of frustrations. 4 type of frustration. I'm sorry, that was 8. 9. 9 is you avoid entering situations that may trigger thoughts like I'm not the best. I'm not as good as other people. So now you're not surrounding yourselves with great people because I want to avoid feeling inadequate. I want to avoid feeling insecure. So this is crucial. This is crucial. You have to get around people that are better than you at certain things. That's what lifts you up. That's what lifts up your standard of living. That's what raises your bar. That's what raises your bar. It pulls something out of you. It pulls something out of you. You know, when you see athletes, when you got to get your competition pool is crucial. You got to get around some people that's better than you at something, that's quicker than you. That's what's going to bring your potential. More likely, your potential is going to fly higher. It's going to fly up higher to its fulfillment when you get around people that are high achievers, high flyers. Get around people that are high flyers. Get around people. You see somebody that you look at them. You see something that you like. You like their family. Just get around them. Get around them and see. When I see something. When I see people that I like, I want to get around them. I endeavor to be around them. All of my friends are comprised of people, men who are stronger than me in certain areas. So we glean off each other, right? I want to glean off them in this area. I want to glean off this one in that area. So I don't want to avoid it so I can feel like I'm so great because my competition pool is so low. Now I'm dropping down. We need to be able to pull people up, and then we need to be able to be pulled up, right? We need to pull people up, and we need to be able to be pulled up by others. This is something that is crucial for us. We cannot remember, your environment is everything. So if you have a high-flying environment, if you're around high achievers in your environment, guess what you're going to become? You're going to become that. Remember, the environment influences the result of that product. The environment. Remember the apple pie? A raw apple pie, it has all the potential to be a beautiful, perfectly edible apple pie. But unless it gets in the environment of that stove with a temperature that's so high, it will never fulfill its potential. It'll always just be the potential of one. But it has to get in the right environment. And so do you. You got to get in the right environment that your potential can start getting cooked and your potential can start getting heated up. And now you're walking into the absolute realization of your potential. So frustrations can be a powerful tool for growth. We can no longer run from our frustrations. Let's not avoid them. Let's embrace them. Let's embrace the frustration. So now look at this. Now this is crucial. This gives 4 types of frustrations. Okay? Frustration of function. The first frustration is the frustration of function. This is a man is frustrated because of the lack of job satisfaction. So a man is frustrated because he's unsatisfied with his job. Okay. The second frustration of conviction. A physician who works in a hospital where the standard is very low, that what he actually wanted to do for people, frustration of conviction occurs. So the standard around, he's been placed in an environment where the standard is too low, and now he realized, I can't achieve what I wanted. I can't do what I set out to do. That's the frustration of conviction. The next one is the frustration of ambition. A man may find himself in a lower level than he would like to. His achievement lags behind his ability. Ooh, wait. This is frustration we must take heed to. This is really the bulk of the frustration that I'm talking about. The frustration where it's the frustration of ambition. Your abilities are here, but your achievement, your behavior, your achievements are here. So your abilities are here, but your achievements are here. This is frustration. That frustration works for this. Frustration works for this level here. And you have to use that frustration to go down to where you are and pull you up, right? Because remember, failed expectations equals frustrations. You see the area in between these hands? That's called frustrations. Because the frustration works for the expectation. And when that expectation is set, it's set. Don't drop the expectation down. Don't drop the bar down. Keep that bar up and pull your behavior, your performance up to that level. And frustration will help you do that. Frustration will help you do that. It will help you do that. The frustration of ambition is a crucial one not to avoid. We cannot avoid the frustration of conviction because this frustration works for your destiny. It works for your potential. It works to make sure that your potential is realized. The last one, frustration of response. The frustration which arises in conflict over the use of tools or material or the feeling of one's superior officers are unjust and unfair to him in evaluation and behavior-wise. So this is a frustration of response. So basically, you're not being treated right at work or something like that. You get frustrated. Okay, don't avoid it. Use that frustration. Talk to your boss. Say, can I have a sit down with you? Can I have a one-on-one with you? The boss, supervisor, whoever it is, he or she. Sit down. Can I have a sit down with you? And then look, I'm kind of getting frustrated because I feel like your responses are not, all the way. And then that way you get an understanding. And everything you do, get understanding. Come to a reasoning point. Okay. And so how do we deal with these frustrations? How do we deal with these frustrations? Remember, frustration of frustration of conviction. Frustration of function, frustration of conviction, frustration of ambition, and then frustration of response. How do we deal with this? The first thing is you have to be present. Get yourself present. Be present. Don't run. Don't run. Embrace your frustration. Embrace it. No matter which one of these four it is, embrace it. So, okay, because remember, frustration works for your future. So your mind is somewhere in the future, but the actions and things aren't meeting up to that. They're not meeting up to that. So you don't want to just erase the future, but you do have to embrace where you are. You do have to embrace this frustration. Remember, I said, ask frustration, why are you here? Explain to me your evidence of being here. Explain to me your reasoning. Explain to me how you got in, right? How did you get a key to get in here? Frustration, and frustration will let you know, I'm here because of this. I'm here because of that. And so we got to snap out of, use the emotion, and then now just find where that emotion of frustration, where is it going to take me? Take my hand and lead me to where you're going. How did you get here? And lead me to where you're going. Lead me to how you got here. Embrace it. The second one is appreciate what you have. Appreciate what you have. A lot of times frustration will trick us to thinking that we don't have nothing. It'll trick us to thinking, man, you lack everything. You don't have anything that you need. But we must allow the frustration I have to sit down once I've been led to where I am. Now I have to see, okay, what do I have? What do I have? Because I guess what? It could be worse. It could be worse. It could be worse. So I must be appreciative. So what do I have? What do I have now? What do I have? What is good? What good is going on? What good is happening to me? Okay, well, I didn't have a job. At least I do have a job. I'm frustrated with my job. But remember when I was looking for one and couldn't find one? Man, I'm struggling because I don't have the time like I like. But guess what? I have health. I have health in my body. My body's healthy. Always look at what you have. Things could be worse. Things could be worse. So after you've allowed frustration to lead you to how it got in, how did you get here? Where's your evidence? Now I must be appreciative for what I have. And it's crucial because this leads to my third point. If you don't appreciate and acknowledge what you have, you can never get to point number 3. Point number 3 is, what can I do right now? What action can I take? What can I do in order to resolve this frustration and bring me into freedom? Okay, if you can't acknowledge what you have, then you will be you'll neglect the tools you have to bring action that you need to use for action. It's like, man, I need to dig a hole. I'm so frustrated because there's not a hole. I have these plants here. I have to put them in the ground, but I don't have a shovel. I don't have anything to dig a hole. I need a hole in the ground, but it's a shovel right in front of me. But I'm saying I need a hole in the ground. I'm frustrated because these plants they're not in the ground. They're just going to die. Guess what? Be aware of what you have. Look what you have. You may not have the perfect shovel, but you got something. You got something. You can wet that ground up and use your own hands to dig a hole. You have something. You have what it takes to succeed. You have what it takes. And guess what? Even if you don't have it tangibly, you have it intangibly. There's relationships. There are people around you. And with that being said, I want to read this. This blew my mind. When you look at the word frustration in the Greek understanding of frustration, it says to reject what is already laid down. So there's something that's already laid down, but you haven't come into it. You're either rejecting it, you're ignoring it, or you just haven't found it. You know how frustrated you can get when you get lost? If I'm lost, if I'm looking for a building, and I'm lost and I've lost my way, I'm going to start getting frustrated. But guess what? My frustration doesn't mean that the building isn't there. It just means that I haven't found it. That I haven't found it. It blew my mind. So it's frustration in the Greek. It says to reject, to refuse, or to respect what is already there. You are not acknowledging what's already there. It's like if I keep on failing, I'm going to grow frustrated because I keep making the same mistake instead of having somebody. Matter of fact, I was frustrated the other day. I have hundreds of books in my library in my office, right? I was frustrated. I'm like, man, I need something I can find for a certain area, right? And I said, man, you know what? I bet you I have a book that is topical on my frustration. And sure enough, I went right to my shelf, right to my bookshelf, and I pulled a book out and I said, wow, here's the curriculum right here. What do you have? It may not be tangible, but it may be intangible. It may be something that you just need, or a person you need to connect with. Man, I can't lose this weight for nothing. And then you got somebody that's close to you in your arsenal, somebody you work with, or somebody that it's in your family, or somebody that's at your church who's lost 50 pounds. And you're frustrated that you can't lose weight, right? It's right there. But we have to be aware of what we have. And then we can go into action. Oh, man, all you have to do is say something. Yeah, all you need to do, look, just change up your eating. You can eat the same stuff, but just change your hours of eating. Change your windows. Change your windows of eating. Solving a problem. Now your frustration led you somewhere. So, gotta go, y'all. Time is up. But I hope this helped you to really appreciate frustrations so that frustrations won't continuously be there. We can get rid of them by way of conquering them and not running away from them, not avoiding them. So hope y'all have an awesome, awesome, awesome day. Today's Wednesday. Have an awesome day. Choose you. Choose you to fight frustrations through embracing them and respecting them instead of avoidance. Hope y'all have an awesome day. Love y'all. God bless.